What's the biggest mistake the average investor makes? What's a mistake that so many people made one day that millions of people lost trillions of dollars? What I'm talking about is when investors allow fear or greed to get the best of them. They listen to the noise and then they make absolutely horrendous investment mistakes. And what I'm talking about, of course, is back in 2008 when shit was just absolutely hitting the fan. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Everybody in the world was freaking out except for Christian Bale, because he was like, I'm making tons of money, this is sweet. Well, everybody's losing their houses and shit. Christian Bale was super pumped. Well, let's talk about 2008 for a sec. In 2008, over the course of 3 weeks, the market dropped 30%. Everybody was losing their mind. Nobody wanted to lose everything. So what they started doing, they got so scared, they said, okay, I'm going to sell everything and I'm just going to buy a GIC for making 2% because that's super safe and that's super guaranteed. And then maybe investor B was like, you know what, this sucks, I hate this, but I'm actually going to stay the course. I'm just going to do this. My advisor told me to stay the course, even though he was probably freaking out too, because he doesn't know what the hell's going on. But he says the market will recover, just stay. So let's look at those two people and how they ended up over the last 10 years. Person A sold, they had $100,000, it dropped 30% to 70. They sold, that's the moment they lost money actually, and they bought a GIC. And now today they have a whopping $82,000. Whoop-de-shit. And person B, yes, they dropped to $70,000 as well, but they didn't lose anything because they didn't sell that day and they just stayed the course. And since then, let's say in my example, this person was invested in the American market. They have made 257% over the last 9 years. So now they have $180,000 in that account compared to the other person that thought they were taking the safe route. Now these things happen. I'm not saying that you're going to be comfortable with them, but you have to avoid the noise because the media is always going to make people make bad decisions. So let's just look at all the noise that person B had to avoid over the last 9 years in order to stay invested where he could have panicked. Remember the BP oil spill? Or the huge Japan tsunami? That was brutal. The US debt downgrade? Remember the fiscal cliff? Whatever the hell that is? People are like, the fiscal cliff is coming. Who the hell knows what that is? Remember when the government in the States just shut down for like a certain amount of time? They were just like, we're not going to work anymore. Or the European debt crisis? Everybody in Greece is like, we're going to have to live on yogurt or whatever. I can't totally remember. Remember when the Dow dropped 1,000 points in one day? Everybody was losing their shit. Oil, everybody in Alberta knows that oil dropped 77% and hasn't recovered. Brexit happened. Europe got divorced or whatever the hell that means. I don't know what that means. And the worst thing of all is Trump happened. And still the market has recovered. So you have to avoid the noise, and as long as that you can stay patient, and if you are invested correctly, you will make money over time. It's when you lose that patience, you listen to the noise, you panic, that's when you lose money. So next I'm just going to talk about how you make sure that you're invested properly going forward. Thanks. Go Oilers!